Okay, everybody. Hi, this is John Corelli. I'm your host of Another Comic, Another Podcast. I have Elaina McMillan, very funny lady, and we're just going to talk stuff until we're done talking. So, do you want to start with the story you're just telling me? Because I think that's really funny.
Oh, wow. Okay.
She's also a hypnotist, or was.
Yeah.
You are
I still do it. Not via video anymore.
Yeah.
So I used to do, back in the day, there was this thing called Skype. And I would do my sessions on Skype because it was, I could watch them getting relaxed and I could make sure that they were really there before I kind of moved on to the next thing. And anyway, I'm watching this client and he's in New York. I'd never met him in person. And he seemed a little odd, actually, but I was not one for listening to intuition at the time. And I'm doing the session and keeping an eye on him, and all of a sudden I notice, I can just see his shoulder moving. I'm thinking, is it a twitch? And I'm watching it, and it's very rhythmic. It's very, very rhythmic. And
We have our needs.
oh man, that was it. And it was all I could do to not drop in some weird,
Wow.
suggestions just to jack him up.
It puts that whole, because I do a lot of Zoom meetings for when I'm teaching kids. Now that's a whole new perspective of you see some movement in the shoulders. My kids are special needs too. I'm like, oh, who knows what you're doing down there? Yeah, I can just see. Man, we got some kids that just they still don't understand that that's not okay in high school. You can't touch yourself down there.
I remember my kids, we lived in Bailey, and when Hayden, it was his first day of first grade in Conifer, and he had to go to the bathroom during playtime or whatever, what recess. And it's been a while. So he just walks over to a tree, pulls down his pants and pees on the tree, which we would do at home. We had acres and not a thing. And so that was it. And it doesn't occur to you, by the way, to say hey, first day of school, and don't pee on a tree.
Pee outside, yeah.
You just didn't think of it.
That's really funny. That's great because it is a training ground, really, for so many other things than just learning your 3 R's, which I love. A comic way better than me said, 2 of the R's aren't even R's. That's how dumb we are in the United States. Reading and arithmetic and writing are not R's.
Oh my God, that is how dumb we are.
Isn't that great? Yeah, it's 3 R's. No, it's only 1.
I didn't finish college any of the 3 times I started, and I am one of the smartest people I know.
Seriously, obviously you don't need to go there to get smart.
Well, and you don't need the $100,000 of debt either, yeah. Right?
I went to Metro, thank God. I was able to get done.
I thought you were going to say med school.
Oh, no.
Similar, but different.
The doctor of love, baby. No, I'm not doing that. This could turn into a really crazy podcast. I don't know. We don't know where it's going. We're only 3 minutes in. Do you want?
And yet it feels like 20.
I know. That's what everyone says. Pretty much about my comedy too. That's 7 minutes, dude. Jesus, weren't you up there an hour? Oh, that was god awful. That was the worst thing. It was terrible. So we're talking about. I usually prompt my guests.
Yeah.
This feels weird to call you a guest, but my comics with who would you put on your comedy Mount Rushmore?
Mm-hmm.
So who you got?
Oh man, I struggled with this. I struggled with it because I hate to admit this, but I can't help but just be honest. I am not. I'm not.
Not like a student of it. Right?
Well, I am in that we're always learning, but I don't really study comedy. You're right, and so I don't really follow comics, but I do fall in love with certain bits.
That's
And oh my God, I was thinking of one, and I will do it no justice, but Chad Daniels.
I saw, honestly, he is. If you haven't heard of Chad Daniels,
he's not.
You need to.
A big name per se, but he's so good.
Did you see him about a year and a half ago when he was at Comedy Works?
Yes.
We might have been in the same crowd.
Oh my gosh! So the bit about his daughter, and she's drolling on, and he's talking about how his eyes glaze over, and then he literally says, should I say it or should people
absolutely.
Go find it?
No,
he literally says.
He'll like you say, we're not going to do it justice, so you might as well do the best you can, and then go see the true version of it.
Done well.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my God, he's talking about her drolling on, and he kind of imitates it, and then he says, "How in the world does anyone fuck their children?" And I almost died.
It was so.
And everything after that, he just continued to go, and it was.
That was the joke okay, he can't top that. And he did. That was fair. I think, wasn't it relatively early in the set, or maybe halfway?
Probably halfway.
Yeah, he kind of warmed you up for that, and then you're like, holy shit, he said that.
But
and
then
he kept going.
He points to the thing that is really there is, I didn't say I want to fuck my children. I said, how in the world? And that becomes like his gauge of measuring good people versus bad people.
Love
but
that.
it was really funny. So, that's a great bit. I love Tig Notaro. I'd put her up there for sure.
She's really good. And I'm a big Louis C.K. fan. Which
oh my God, me too.
And it's hard to be that right now. But when I heard that bit, I was like, that's a Louis C.K. level type of
Which
bit.
bit?
The Chad Daniels one.
Oh yeah.
Because I was like, it's so wrong, but
done so well.
Yeah, if you're at that level, you can get away with saying that.
And he wasn't even saying anything bad, inside the essence of what he was saying.
Yeah.
But and I will tell you, so Tig Notaro would definitely be on my comedy Mount Rushmore.
Nice.
Did you ever see No Moleste?
I have not.
Oh my God, promise me
I
will
will.
YouTube that. It's just, and she's nothing like me. Like I could never. We're so different, but there's just something about her that is mesmerizing. And then the authentic thing, I always love that.
Nice.
So, but Louis C.K. he would be on there, but I don't know if you can do that anymore.
I think it's hard because I had Cosby. Hey, by the way, we're at the Mercury Cafe. This is where we do these things, and sometimes some people come and they're talking, and we got waitresses up here and stuff, so it's cool. We're closer to the mic, so we count. I guess.
Winner.
Hi, but Louis would be. Even though he's amazing, he's my favorite comic. Mm-hmm. He's not on my Mount Rushmore because it's almost like the way they did Mount Rushmore is they did, okay, these 4 presidents were important for these reasons.
Yeah.
And the hallmarks they represent in American history. Mm-hmm. And so mine are like monster names. Mine are Lenny Bruce, George Carlin, Richard Pryor, and Bill Cosby, who we may have to sandblast.
I would have, I would have predicted those 3 for you, actually. And I would put George Carlin on for the same reason. Like, he cracked something open. Probably Lenny Bruce because he was first, but I'm just not as familiar with his work. But in that paving the way kind of way, he deserves a spot.
That's why I have him. He had to go to the Supreme Court 3 times about
I've only gone once.
Oh, so. Good for you. Did you win or lose? the great hit. This was that was that in the case of hypnotist versus masturbator?
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
And
I made sure nobody remembered how that turned out.
Almost got Ruth Bader Ginsburg to dive off just leave early.
Ginsburg?
Oh, good point. See, wordplay. Good.
It
works for me.
Is it too soon?
No, never.
Is there like a period of time you have to wait?
I saw another comic say something like 2 seconds later you do it, because that's the way we're horrible people and we just go. And it's like, there's people saying too soon about people that died 20 years ago, and I'm like, come on, we're not.
You make fun of people who are alive.
Exactly, that's worse. Well, for I'm an atheist, so I believe you're done. Well, I don't believe anyone's looking down. I'm like, if you're okay, sorry, I'd rather have you talk shit about me when I'm dead. That's just my belief. I don't want to know about it.
Fair enough.
So you got Tig Notaro.
So Tig, and then so Louis C.K. I gotta say this because it's not popular.
Yeah.
He was on the wrong side of #MeToo.
Yeah.
But I respected that he got on stage and talked about it, and that's what I love about him to begin with.
Exactly. This is a guy that, and I think most of us, even though, especially those listening, that are used to me, and this is only my 5th podcast, but I also do other things, and if they know me and know the people I talk to, they know that I don't feel like Louis C.K.'s, whatever crime you want to call it, was that egregious. It was not good. It was an abuse of power. And it sounds like he asked all the women, according to him, for permission to do what he did. And for those of you that don't know, what he did was masturbate in front of fellow female comedians that were either featuring or opening for him, and they felt they kind of had to watch that because he was headlining New York at the time. It's like, you don't want to bail on a guy or get on the wrong side of the guy who's headlining Caroline's or The Cellar or wherever he's doing. So, but yeah, so you're a female comic.
Yeah.
So what do you think about all
Well,
of that.
I can tell you, like that story when I was doing a hypnosis session and dude was masturbating. I did not, first of all, I was probably 30. And I did not have the balls to say, what the fuck are you doing? Knock that off. I just pretended, I just made it through the session and then told him I wasn't doing Skype sessions anymore. But I understand what it's like to be on the other side of that and not feel like you have the space to say something or not know how to say it or just kind of turtle up.
I think it's an ultimate, and I try not to say white male privilege too much, but it is a thing that obviously exists. And it feels like I'm trying to picture a female doing that. At least
might land differently.
Literally and figuratively.
In his defense, it's so funny. When I first became a hypnotherapist, I was in my late 20s, and I remember leaving. I made all these business cards, and I thought I'd be getting all these calls, and I remember leaving an outgoing voicemail, and I thought, well, it needs to sound relaxing.
Yeah.
Well, it's a fine, subtle line between slutty and relaxing. So I had this probably overtly sort of almost sexy outgoing message.
Nice.
I didn't realize it at the time.
And I'm going to say this, and we'll probably confirm this later when I edit this. You got a great voice. So 1-900 Elaina.
1-900 keep it in your pants.
Seriously.
It's so funny because as I get older, there's a lot of my comedy is about getting older, not for any reason other than that is what I'm thinking about all the time.
Well, welcome to the club, because you're only a few years younger than me, right? Are you 49?
35?
Yeah, exactly.
Or 50.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought you told me you were 50,
Oh
last time we talked on the phone.
Well, last time we talked, I think I was 49.
Okay.
Just to be fair.
Yeah.
Because I'm kind of recent.
She looks 20.
Well, she acts like a 12-year-old boy.
This is why you're perfect for this stage.
Well, I'll say this. Like, going back to the question about as a woman or as a woman comic, and what do you think of all of that? There is a difference between Louis C.K.'s actions and Bill Cosby's actions.
Oh, absolutely.
One is like, I guess you could say they're both predatory, maybe, but it's just so different.
Oh, it's absolutely apples and oranges. One is, they're both crimes technically too, but hello. Yeah.
There's a range.
Yeah, definitely.
And, Cosby never took responsibility.
No,
Cosby never apologized.
No, kept denying, and that is what, and I don't know if you know this about Louis C.K., he's extremely good friends with Chris Rock, and because they've done a lot of work together, and they're really good friends, and I think that's where Chris said, just do it, don't pull Cosby. I bet is what the way that conversation went. He said, go, rip the Band-Aid off as early as you can, write a whole hour set, do some of it about this, do it about other stuff too, and get past
But
this.
don't glaze over it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm sure you saw the special, the last one he did, and that's another thing I love about Louis C.K. is you can download his specials. He tries to get ticket costs as low as possible. He tries to do them off his website. So I went and saw him in 2012 for $40.
Wow.
Yeah, and so I have a lot of respect for that. He's trying to play up to his fans and not play up to Ticketmaster, which is great. But yeah, the first thing he comes out and says, I think, is, so how was your 2018 and 19? I'm like, there you go.
That's all there really was to do. What there was to do was not masturbate in front of
Yeah,
people.
that was the first thing.
Maybe, but the second thing to do, should the first have gone awry, I would say the fourth person, and I don't know how well you know her, and I imagine most people listening may not know her, but Christina Hall, have you seen her do?
She vouched for you. That's why you're here. That's why we talked and met. Yeah, I hit her up first, and she was COVID, so she's like, I'm not going out
yet. She also
yet.
needs like an hour and a half.
Just
go. She tells stories. She's so honest and so willing to be vulnerable. And I actually learned comedy from her.
Yeah, she's awesome. I worked with her once. It was Sushi High. She featured for James Engelman, and I was on it, and my 12-year-old son was also on it because I like to abuse my kids too.
Yeah. Well, it's part of what we get. It's part of the benefit of having children.
Thank you.
Yeah, agreed. I would say she is, to me, somebody who is impeccably. I don't have the words really. It's funny. I had COVID, and sometimes I can't grab a word.
That's frightening.
And then I can't let it go.
Oh, great.
And so I'm like, I will pause the conversation for like 15 minutes to find the word. But I've never seen someone more willing to just share what's truly there for her. She'll talk about being broke. She'll talk about getting older. She had this joke about, again, I won't do it any justice, but she had this joke about talking when dating and when you're first talking on the phone with somebody and getting to know them, and the joke was something like, well, there's this thing I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to love someone, have them love me back, or something like that. But it was
and when you can drop it just right, and I think I've seen that joke. Might have been when I worked with her, but yeah.
She's just really great, and always talking about something new, because there's always something new. And she's also, I would say this, she's kind of got the trifecta. She is probably the smartest person I know, or at least one of the smartest people I know. So funny, and then really tender.
Nice.
And that kind of combination, she's actually going to officiate our wedding, because what better trio of traits
seriously. Oh, yeah.
could you
Just
have?
pluck them out of the air as you need them. That's great.
Yeah, so anyway, so she gets a...
That's nice. So she's going to love that. I'm going to put her name on this thing that she'll, I'm sure, want to listen to. My Garfield the cat voice and our 1-900 voice. So you got Christina Hall, which is huge for her and you. That's great.
It was a big day for me when we put Christina's face up on that.
Yeah. It was nice to put a female up there.
2.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. We're up to 2. We got Tig and...
Yeah,
Tig
not on purpose. Like, I'm not like...
Oh, no. We need females up there.
Yeah, but I don't have like a thing about affirmative action or female comics. You know what I mean?
You know what they would do? They'd put a 5th up there. They put a female and they just wedge it in that crack part. They just shove her right in there and all squeezed.
They put her in front, so she's actually covering half of Lincoln and half... Yeah, I didn't even know which
got
two
hands out like she's photobombing the founding fathers. Yeah,
feel like this. You can't see that.
What up,
see what
bitches? Yeah, that was my verbal interpretation of.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, of a piece.
I think we nailed it.
We did it. We're gonna nail it tonight. We're gonna nail it now. This is great. I love this feel. It reminds me of the scene in Goodfellas when they go like through that whole kitchen and all through the back and then finally get to the restaurant or the bar. I feel like it's very, I don't know, just feels cool. I don't mind the background noise, and it's just, I love this room so much.
Yeah, it's the coolest place.
Yeah, it's a good room. All right, so you got 2. Who else you got?
I would put George Carlin on just because I think he was
like a pioneer.
15 minutes.
I'm going to say,
pioneer. Thank you.
And I'm just going to do that's the guy version.
Pave the wayer is what I was thinking, but that I know there's a better word for it. And then there's someone else I really love, and I don't know that he's earned a spot. But
it's your personal spot.
Well, that's true.
Bo Burnham is. And he's doing so much stuff.
He's like 17.
It looks like it's still, yeah.
But like to be as savvy as he is at the age that he is, I almost would like preemptively declare a spot for him because he's only evolved and gotten smarter and edgier. And
he's producing movies and stuff too.
That's right, 8th grade. I haven't seen it.
No, I heard it was really good, and it was like his first. Yeah, and I think he directed that one too. And then I've seen him on producer credits or director credits for maybe it was Tambourine, Chris Rock's special from a couple years ago. So he's ensconced in that world.
Yeah, and I'm not even a big fan of like the songs. I mean, I'm entertained by them, but I don't know that they get a spot on them.
Yeah, I've honestly I couldn't tell you a Bo Burnham song.
Oh,
I know
they're good.
Yeah, I know. I
Art
hear
is
it.
Dead.
See,
like, there's some really
I've probably heard it on the radio, like on 103.1. I've probably heard it, but I was like, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that I've heard one.
They might have done it a while back. Or like Nick Thune was doing a few too when they were doing stuff like that, and Garfunkel and Oates. But that's a really good point. I haven't heard. I love that name. It's the best. But I haven't heard any like songs on 103.1 comedy songs in a long time. Maybe somebody said, "Nah, we don't really like these." Who knows? Franklin Azar probably has something to do with it. It makes me.
He's got some say in the matter.
It is actually. They do record from the Franklin Azar studios.
I've heard that.
Which hurts my heart every time I hear it. He is the most unfunny person ever, and he should not.
Maybe it's just ironic.
Frank Azar runs a studio.
That's a thing?
Oh, that's a real thing.
He's
terrible.
Goodman of Denver, Colorado.
Oh, he's awful. Yeah, better. Oh, don't get me started.
Sorry, I'm totally butting in.
That's all right, man. Hey, it's this.
Pull up a
this
chair.
This podcast is for all of us.
He's totally the Saul Goodman.
Yeah, he's terrible. I mean, I've heard, they calls himself the Strong Arm. That's apparently that's a franchise throughout the country. He's like the Denver Strong Arm, and then there's Strong Arms, like I heard there's one in Phoenix and LA, and it's all
Like a different guy?
Yeah, it's like they just take a guy who's done really well, because I've had to hear that horrible voice for like the last 40 years on the air, and watch that fat head talk to me, and I can't, and it hurts my heart that that's the studio where they broadcast comedy from. Anyway, sorry, that was a digression.
I hear you. I just go, anytime something like that happens, I just call it ironic and then make peace with it.
See, and that's the health of being a woman, in my opinion, or at least a very woke, evolved man, and I'm not there. I'm so not there. I'm just screaming at my radio. Not if anyone's in the car, of course, but
yeah.
Frank Azar. We're up to 3.
Okay.
Was it Bo? No, you got George Clarendon, Bo, Tig, and Christina Hall.
I guess we're done. I mean, but that's in your game of like some range and kind of representing different things. You have somebody who paved the way. I think it's naive to call him an up and comer, because I think he's
been
up
doing it a
and
while.
come. So
yeah, but he's still very. I don't know. He's probably around 30. He's pretty young.
Yeah, he's probably 30 now.
Yeah,
but he was like in his 20s.
Oh yes.
I mean,
this.
Early 20s when he started. He was like a YouTube. He was the Bieber of comedy. He was all over YouTube, and he got a little bit of a following.
Yeah.
And that was kind of. That
I don't think he's
parlayed him
hated
in.
as Justin Bieber.
You don't think what?
He's as hated as Justin Bieber.
No, but similar hair.
Oh yeah,
He did
I would
kind
like
of
that hair.
My kids had that hair, and I'm not even kidding. I used to have to take Liam to the chiropractor because he would do that
that's
so much. I think
hilarious.
he jacked up his neck.
Yeah, see, you can't do that with this. This is the Italian equivalent of a Jufro. This doesn't go anywhere. My dad, and I'm sorry guys, I'm throwing in a joke, but my dad, I swear to God, he said this. He said, he just looks at the ground and says, Jesus Christ, I gotta have the only fucking kid on the planet who has pubic hair on his head. And he said that.
But it's well coiffed. I mean, you work.
I mean,
you work
you work with
it.
what you got. You know,
Yeah,
I almost never shampoo. It's all conditioner to try and straighten this mess out. It's just a dry thatch up there. Women have got.
Thatch? Did you say thatch?
I did just say thatch. It's not good.
Sometimes you hear a word and it's a good dog name, and I like Thatch.
Oh, Thatch would
for
totally have a
dog.
bandana, wouldn't he?
Oh, totes. And his owner would say totes.
Yeah, he would.
I've always wanted to have a Chihuahua. I don't even really love Chihuahuas. I mean, I love dogs, but I've always wanted to meet a Chihuahua whose name was Vato.
Oh, that is a good name.
Because isn't that a great
well,
name?
yeah, because like Vato Quiero Taco Bell, right?
Oh, I forgot about that, actually.
Although that got kind of ugly, I guess, now that we've kind of woken up to what can be offensive. There were a lot of people that apparently didn't like that.
You know what? So did you hear about, I don't remember, was it, oh man, I don't remember the studio, but they're making a movie with a lot of the old cartoons.
Oh, okay.
And they've cut Pepe Le Pew.
Oh, yeah, that I heard
Okay,
about.
he was rapey. I
Oh,
actually
man,
think...
he's totally going to rape that cat.
I think it's fair
Yeah.
to put him to rest. I do.
Yeah, I don't think...
Because it sends the wrong message, right? Like that it's okay to do that and that women should just
keep
comply.
chasing
So
them.
I think that is
Yeah.
totally fair. But they also killed
Sorry. This is the effect I have on people.
I'm blaming COVID.
I will too.
Speedy Gonzalez.
Oh, because it's too overtly, very, very
yeah.
Mexican. Yeah, I could see where it's a little... Well, especially... I didn't find him as offensive as his buddy. Do you remember his buddy? He was like, Speedy Gonzalez is the fastest mouse in all Mexico. It was like super...
Hi.
Yeah. Now, that'd probably be better than what it was. It just made him look lazy. But yeah, it's like, hi. And people need to make up their minds. can't we just have a middle of the ground mouse? They're all either like lazy, shiftless, or working their asses off until
Well,
they
there's
die.
Mighty Mouse. I mean, you did have the way other spectrum, like ADD, too much Adderall. I don't know. Do you
He was
remember
good.
Mighty Mouse?
Oh, totally, yeah. One of the best bits ever was, or stupidest bits in my opinion, was hilarious. Andy Kaufman on SNL back in the 70s, and all it is, it's a little 45 of the Mighty Mouse song, and
I do kind of remember that.
and the chorus is "Here I am to save the day," and it's just Andy Kaufman just sticking his fist in the air at that part of the song and just then waiting it out again. It's so dumb, it's funny. It's one of those like somebody thought of this and did it on stage. So, and that's what I love about comedy, because you don't know what's coming. Sometimes it's like a surprise every time.
Yeah, well, it's the same thing with doing it. Like sometimes you have ideas. How often do you come up with something and you think it's really funny, and then you're rehearsing it and you're about to do it, and you're like, I'm not sure that's funny.
Yeah, I've my problem is I think so many things are funny, and then I write them out.
That is a problem.
It really is. It's like, oh man, wasn't that 9/11 a kick in the head? It's like, and then you do, and then you see someone who could do a 9/11 joke and get away with it, and you think you can do it. And like, I can't do that.
Well, it's presence. When I think we were talking about the Seattle, the international comedy competition, and I somehow accidentally got in there. I think they called the wrong number, but I do comedy like 2 or 3 times a year.
Yeah.
I haven't done comedy since 2019 October.
I remember you telling me that when we were talking that you hadn't done it since then. Yeah, that's amazing.
And so one of the things I realized is it's not that they're necessarily funnier, like that their material is funnier. It's just they're so commanding. I mean, they're doing it 5 times, 10 times a week sometimes, going up twice a night. And they're doing, every time they don't have a booked gig, they're doing open mic nights. And, I just roll in like, every 6 or 8 months and throw down.
But that's
for a
good
minute.
that you have a solid 15, 20 minutes.
Well, you haven't seen it. So.
Well, we'll see if it's solid.
We'll see if it's solid.
In an hour or so, we'll see how solid it is.
But it's funny that I've been doing it for like 7 or 8 years, and cumulatively, I don't think I've done 30 shows,
Yeah.
And so when I was competing with them, it was like, what I realized was that they've done enough comedy that they're bulletproof. Like they can just get up there and they can handle anything. And I get up there totally attached to doing a good job, wanting to be funny, don't want to forget anything. And, really I go up there just hoping I'm not going to fuck it up is honestly like
I think
mostly what's underneath it for me.
I think that's honestly a lot of people, I'm going to say, for their first 10 years.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not as sporadic as you have been, but I'm pretty sporadic. I get up here and do my thing weekly for the last maybe year when we have stage time. And it's hard for me because I didn't start till I was 41, and you probably started around the same age, it sounds like.
Yeah.
But for people our age with kids, A, we can't go to open mics all the time.
Right.
B, I get bored very easily. I do not like saying, and it's something you have to do if you're serious about it.
Right.
You got to tell that same
really
joke.
Hone
Yeah,
your
you gotta
set.
you gotta know all the beats, you gotta know all the bits, and you gotta know where you can go if something goes awry in the crowd. You have all those muscles flexed and or worked out,
Yeah.
And I don't do that. I just like my what do I want to put? I don't want to put like my stale factor or my expiration date for a joke is generally really short compared to most comics.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I can keep a
hard for me.
joke. Like the thing about solid 15 or so is I will bring in a few new jokes and still keep probably 70% of those jokes, and then over time it kind of evolves into a whole new set. But I could not imagine having to write a whole new set. And for example, I have one joke about I'm like, is my mom ever going to hear this? My mom's dementia, so she has no idea. She has no idea, and it's probably best that way for her. She just, there was never the like having to come to peace with it.
Right.
She just went from denying it and saying, everybody loses their glasses. She went to finally see a neurologist, and she came home. I called her and I said, how'd the appointment go? And she goes, oh, it's great. He was great. He basically said, I'm fine.
Yeah.
And he gave me some pamphlets for dementia, and he said, listen, you don't have dementia. I want you to take these pamphlets, and I just put them in a drawer. Just put them in a drawer, because you know what? You might meet somebody someday with dementia. And I'm listening to this going, wow. Yeah. And she was serious. I mean,
Jeez.
and so I have one joke about it because it's not funny-ish or enough yet to like really run with it, but I'm starting to see the absurdity in it. And
I want to
so
hear your
have this
dementia
one-
joke, so I have an excuse to share mine because I've never told it, but I think there's a direction I go with mine. So how do you get? Yeah, I want to hear this.
Well, it's funny. My dad had cancer, and he's fine. But I did have this. I did open with my dad has cancer, and everybody's really quiet. And
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
wow, rough crowd. But this is my mom was recently diagnosed with dementia. Okay, it's funny. See, I've never done it before, so I'm going to do
Yeah.
it tonight.
Nice.
I'm not sure anybody's going to get it. I really don't know. So I
We'll
am
see.
prepared to explain it.
I'll laugh.
Thank you. I will give you, I'll print it out and I'll show you all the spots I need you to laugh to prompt everybody else
Highlight
to
it with
laugh.
yellow highlighter.
If you don't mind.
Laugh here.
So basically, it's just, my mom was recently diagnosed with dementia and, I'm really having a difficult time processing it, which just makes me wonder if I have it.
That's good. I like that. That's a
Because
short.
people with dementia have trouble processing things, but I don't know if people get it.
I don't know. I get it.
Well, thank you.
Okay. I mean, I think it's, yeah. Mine's a lot longer because I actually met a guy who didn't have dementia in a nursing home, and I wanted to talk about how he's surrounded by people with dementia. I was watching it, dudes drooling into their pudding and walking into walls, and it was horrific in there. And I just thought, we always think that people don't want dementia. I fucking do, because this guy is seeing it. He is hurtling towards the grave
Yeah.
in a perfect mental state
Oh,
and
yeah.
just watching the horror show and
Yeah.
knowing it might be coming for him. It's like, no, I'd rather be drooling in my pudding. I think that's a lot easier. I don't know what the hell's going on. Oh, I'm dead now. Great.
Yeah, I once was picking my kids up from school, and at their junior high they had a program for kids with Downs, and I got there a little early, and they would let the kids with Down syndrome out like 15 minutes earlier. And so they were outside waiting for their rides or for the bus, and I'm the only car there, and I'm sitting there watching, thinking, oh, that's just so sad. I mean, I wonder why, just why? Is it karma? Is it this? Is it that? It's
Yeah.
just so unfair. And as I'm thinking that, I'm watching them and they're spinning and laughing, and
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden I had this awareness, like, wait a second, maybe I'm the one with shitty karma, because I think it actually is pretty good for them.
A lot of them it is. I can tell you, working with those kids, a lot of them are in a great place. Not all of them.
No, that's true.
Some of them it is, but it's like you say, it's almost like the deeper in you are,
Mm-hmm.
the more you're in your own world. You don't care about what anyone
You're
thinks
not
about
as
you.
impacted
Yeah.
by everything external. And there was a real joy. I mean, most of these kids were really kind of beaming.
And I try to let those kids have that.
Oh my gosh, of course. But
Depends-
in my arrogance, I'm like, oh, poor you.
No, well, I work with them, and I have that same arrogance. I mean, because I'm still trying to say, I want you to learn as much as possible, so you got a shot in this world. And I'm sure a lot of them are like, I'm fine in my world.
Yeah. Well, there's some validity to that.
Yeah, I mean, we have a kid, Down syndrome kid, and he just is always spinning. He's always touching people inappropriately. He's doing whatever the hell he wants, and he looks like he's in bliss. He looks just completely happy. I was like, all right, and it's really hard to teach him anything. We're trying, but it's
Yeah.
like maybe this is his life. And I think the big one for me is you hope that their caregivers are just decent people.
Right.
That's my big worry.
Of
Is like,
course.
who's gonna? Please don't do anything horrible to this poor person. That's my
Right.
big worry. But
Right.
yeah, it's. Oh hey.
That's Matt. He's mine.
Oh. Yeah. So we still got a few more. You want to go for a little while, or
Sure.
how? We're up to almost 35. We usually go 40 to an hour, depending on what we have.
Let's go.
Let's go. Okay. What else do we want to talk about? How about? Are you from Colorado?
I'm not. I'm from California.
Oh, okay. How long you been here?
Long time. I'm kind of a born-again Coloradan. I've been here since, let me think,
Yeah.
95.
Oh wow, that is a long time. Yep. That's, a lot of people came here in the
Bill
90s.
Burnham wasn't even born.
God. Oh man, that hurts, doesn't it?
Yeah, I actually, in all fairness, I think he was born in like 90, so he
Okay.
was 5.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, we were just saying he was around 30. So, but still, yeah,
But
it's like,
still.
yeah, he was just starting to. YouTube wasn't even around. What am I saying?
Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
that's-
it's like,
that's crazy.
Isn't that weird to think about? uh-oh, my battery is running low. How dare you?
That's okay.
I had this thing
Maybe.
plugged in. We'll just keep going until it cuts out.
Okay.
It's,
An
just,
abrupt ending. I love
oh
that.
yeah, that's going to be like, I will probably,
So
I'll
exciting.
I'll try. Hey, if we do run out soon, this has been another comic,
not
another
personal.
podcast. Yeah, exactly. Don't get mad at me. Don't get mad at Elaina McMillan.